Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Maaike. Today I have my Bite Beauty lipstick collection for you. And Bite is a brand that I don't hear a lot of people talking about anymore, at least not in terms of their lip products. They have come out with other products in their range and I hear a lot of people chatting about those, but their OG lipstick line is the one we are talking about today. Now there are a few shades in today's selection that I cannot give you a name for because I did go to a Bite Beauty lip lab when I was last in New York about a year and a half ago. So I did create some of my own shades and I also got a freebie that is nameless. However, I will be showing all of these on my lips, and since I love Bite Beauty lipsticks in like the winter and early spring, the color selection I have definitely reflects that too. Bite Beauty has a very creamy lipstick formula. I find I mainly have their Amuse Bouche line, which is like the OG original sort of formula. But in the lipsticks I made myself, I did also go for a matte. So I do have some different textures from the brand. But yeah, I also have some more unique shades from this brand for sure. So let me get to swatching these on the back of my hand as well as on my lips so that you get a feel for these Bite Beauty lipsticks. Let's get started. So as per usual, I like to start with nudes and sort of work my way up to the brighter and more vibrant and vampier shades, even though by Bite I don't really have a lot of their very dark, very deep shades, and the main reason for that is the formula. This is so creamy that it will transfer quite easily, and when I wear darker lipsticks I like to have something that stays put and that doesn't move around. These lipsticks will move around, but that does make them super nourishing. And Bite Beauty is a lipstick brand with, I believe, 95+% natural ingredients as well. So it really depends on the shade of the lipstick, how much is natural ingredients and which isn't. So these do not have a lot of preservative either, so they can expire quite quickly. However, I find that if a lipstick still performs well and it doesn't do anything weird on my lips, I don't really mind it. So some of these are a bit older, so I'm not sure whether all of the shades are still available. Plus, I definitely got a couple of these when I went like on different trips and stuff. So these may be harder to find if you're in Europe because I don't think Bite Beauty currently ships here, which is a bummer. But yeah, first shade I wanted to show you is Sake, and Sake is the lightest nude that I personally have. This is one of my like OG kind of lipstick colors in terms of like what I used to wear a lot and what I wear a lot now. I used to swear by these really light pinky nudes with a blue undertone so much back when I first started wearing makeup. Nowadays I don't really go for something like this anymore, except for this one, because this has just a little bit of depth to it, and it does have that plummy undertone, which is what I really appreciate. On me, I feel it goes with a lot of very cool toned looks. So if I want to like wear more of like a cool toned eye, or if I'm wearing like blues or purples, then I feel that this is the perfect nude for me because it really goes well. So let me show you what this looks like on. So that would be Sake and what it looks like on me. I got lipstick all over my teeth there. So that's what I mean by these transferring quite a bit. But yeah, don't you just love a shade like this? Like, it is quite light, but very often these shades pull very sort of almost white base, and my natural lip color would always shine through. So in the end I ended up decluttering all of them because my lips are naturally quite pigmented, so they tend to go come through lighter lipsticks. But because of this thicker, very creamy formula that this has, I find it works really well. You do have to be aware though that the original Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche lipsticks have a pink lemonade scent. So it has a very zesty, sweet kind of scent. Reminds me a lot of the Soap and Glory, like that very sort of like almost like neon green sort of scrub that they do. It has that sort of very zesty lemony kind of scent to it. So it has to be your favorite. It's not like cupcakes or vanilla. It's definitely very different from other lipstick lines, but I really like it. It's very fresh and I feel it's very refreshing, even though I normally don't really like fragrance in lipsticks. I always think it's a bit overdone, but the scent does go away quite quickly and This is just the creamiest texture for any lipstick I've ever tried. These are super hydrating on the lips, which is why I love them in the winter time. So I was very happy having put these in my Shop My Stash for February. Let's move on to the next shade. Shade number 2 would be Pepper, and Pepper is similar in depth to Sake. I feel they have the same sort of lightness to it. This is a very pretty nudie shade, but this is a bit more rosy, a little bit more warm toned. This has a bit more brown running through it. So in my head, Pepper and Sake are like brother and sister, you could say. So let me swatch them side by side. Do you just see that Pepper has just a little bit more of a brown undertone, and then Sake is a bit more plummy? So I really appreciate that. I tend to wear Pepper more so than Sake because this is a little bit more universally flattering. I can put this with any eye look I do. This is the kind of nude I can just throw on and I'm good to go. There's another one that you will see that I've owned for longer than Pepper that does that for me, which is my OG love. But yeah, these two are really nice. Sake exclusively with more cool toned looks, especially if I wear a very vibrant blue toned eye. I just really love Sake for that. But this is the all-rounder, you could say. So let me show you Pepper. And that's what Pepper looks like on my lips. As you can see, it very nicely goes with my complexion. It is a little bit, well, it's not that deep, but it does have enough depth to it that it covers everything that I need it to cover. And again, really nice, rich, thick, creamy formula that just glides on. You do have to be very careful with these lipsticks though. I would not recommend keeping them in a very hot spot. Don't put them in your bathroom. Don't put them in a bag that you leave in a car because these will melt for sure. Like these are just very fragile lipsticks because of their texture. They are just incredibly, incredibly creamy, and leaving them out in the sun, I wouldn't recommend it either. So, if you put these in your bathroom, they're gonna grow moldy very easily because they don't have that many preservatives, as I already mentioned. So definitely keep them in a nice dry spot, and then you can keep these around for a long time. Shall we move on to my OG favorite? Let's just get it out of the way. That would be Rhubarb. Rhubarb. This is all I have left. This lipstick is halfway gone. It looks like I've eaten it. That's how beat up this looks. Rhubarb is Pepper, but more pink and deeper. This is like my perfect rosy sort of nude, and I haven't found a nude like this in any other line. This is another one that I can just throw on and I'm out the door. This is a lovely, lovely lipstick. This was one of the first ones I bought. It's still good to go. It still feels very creamy on the lips. It doesn't drag or pull, and it's my favorite for a reason. So if I swatch this next to Pepper, then you can just see that, again, it has more pink, but it's also deeper. Do you just see that? I've got a lot of sun coming in today again, which is lovely, but it does make it a bit harder to film. But yeah, that would be Rhubarb, and oh boy, let me just show it on so that you can tell why I love this so much. And that's what Rhubarb looks like on my lips. This, I don't know. Very often I find that nude lipsticks can be a bit too light for me and they can really wash me out. But because of this shade, I feel that even if I'm wearing a very neutral eye like I'm wearing today, and I'm very fair because, you know, it's the dead of winter and hopefully spring will change it a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, I'm just incredibly pale, and then very often anything that's too light will just wash me out. And that's why I feel Rhubarb is so perfect on my complexion. It really just perks up my face. It adds a bit of depth, and I can wear a very neutral eye without having to put on anything as bold or red toned. And on my lips, I feel that Rhubarb pulls quite plum. I think this is the kind of lipstick that may look differently depending on different people if you have a different undertone. Mine is more cool to neutral leaning, and my lips also have a bit of purple running through it naturally. So I feel that that sort of comes through and it sort of picks up on that. And that's what makes this just one of the best lipsticks ever. This is like my lips, but better, but then up to notch. So those were the first 3 very neutral lipsticks, but I've got 3 lipsticks that for me also work as nudes, but they aren't as perfect as all-rounder shades because these have a little bit more of a unique undertone to them. So I've got 3 in that selection. And the first one I want to show you is Fig. And Fig was the one where when I put these in my Shop My Stash, I was like, I'm not sure whether I'm going to like Fig, because Fig is a very soft pink. It's pink. It's decidedly pink, but just something again happens when I put this on that makes it go with a lot of different things. And I actually wore it with a very like pretty lavender purpley kind of pastel-y eye, and I felt this complemented it very well. So this is not the kind of lipstick that I know I will get a ton of use out of, because it's a bit like, do you just see, like, compared to the stuff I love, this is just incredibly pink. It almost has that like peachy undertone to it that makes it like a very soft coral, and I'm not a huge fan of corals, but it is quite pink and not my favorite for that reason. Definitely my least used Bite lipstick. You could tell perhaps from what this bullet looks like. It's not flattened out like Rhubarb. But yeah, I do think now that I've worn it again a few times and I've put it with different looks, this is the kind of lipstick that I know will be perfect with very soft, very pretty girly looks. That's what this lipstick really goes well with, I think. So let me show you this. Do you just see that this is actually quite pretty on me? Like, when I swatch this and I look at this, I'm like, I'm not sure. But then, oh, I've got something stuck to my face here. But then I look at it in the viewfinder, and this is how I felt when I filmed that video on Saturday with that lavendery eye that I was wearing. Was like, oh, but it is very pretty. It's just not something I go for on the daily. But this is a very pretty, soft, feminine lipstick, and I'm not always about that life. I like something a little bit more edgy. Also in the neutral but not quite category for me is Verbena. I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't be sure. And this has the same problem for me as Fig has. This is a terracotta nude, so it's quite brown. And it's brown with an orange undertone, which makes it very warm toned, which makes it not that perfect for my fair skin, which is more cool to neutral leaning. So again, this was a lipstick where I was like, oh, I don't wear this a lot. I'm not sure if it's going to work. But then I put it in my Shop My Stash in February, and I really made a point of wearing it a few times. And do you just see that it also has a bit of red running through it? And we all know how I feel about red lipstick. So yes, in the end, when I put this in my Shop My Stash, this is the one I reach for the most, besides Pepper, Sake, and Rhubarb. Bit of a wonky swatch right there, but yeah, that would be Verbena. Do you just see that, again, it sort of like perks up my complexion, and that's what I really like about this one. I was very surprised with how much I actually ended up liking this lipstick. I really hadn't expected it to like it all that much because of that undertone, because of that warmth. When I got this home, I was like, oh, I'm not sure how much I'll wear this, but then I really put myself like out there and really tried it. I was like, oh, but it's so pretty. And again, like today I'm wearing more like a peachy eye look, and this just goes with it so well. Even though this lipstick isn't overly peach, it has that pinkish red to it. Like I said, a terracotta nude. That's the only way I could describe this. It has warmth, it has some yumminess factor to it, and I feel that like Fig, it really does something for my complexion that works really well. But whereas Fig is a little bit more prettily, I would say this is the kind of lipstick I could wear on a day-to-day basis, and that just works with a lot of different things I found, especially if they're a bit more warm tone leaning. Next up, Thistle. And Thistle is a taupe. And it's not just any taupe, it's a very gray tone taupe. I don't have a lot of gray toned lipsticks. This is one of the very few ones I feel I can get away with. And the reason for it is the fact that it has a purple undertone. So yes, it's a gray taupey brown, but it's got a little bit of plum running through it, which is why I feel it works on me. However, this is quite intense, as you will see in a minute. This I feel I can only really wear with certain looks. It doesn't go with everything. It is a little bit out there. I do wear this to work. I'm not gonna lie. I do wear Thistle to work, but it is a little bit more of a statement nude, you could say. So there we have Thistle. Do you just see how much purple that has? It's really yummy, but it is a more challenging color to wear for sure. And there we have Thistle. Do you see that it does work on me? It just doesn't really go with the eye look I'm wearing today. It's a bit too warm toned for this. So this is the kind of lipstick that goes really well with a monochromatic cool toned look. So if you wear this lipstick, purple blush, and a cool toned smoky eye, then this works really well. But this lipstick is quite a statement on its own. So this is the kind of lipstick I also really like to wear with just a very subtle eye and then this on the lips. It's a look, but it is a look. Like, this is not for the faint of heart. I would not recommend buying this. This was actually one of the first ones I ever bought because I don't have that many like gray toned lipsticks. But as you can see, it's not too like of a white gray, but because it has that purple undertone, I feel it works quite well on me. What do you think? I think this may very well be the first ever lipstick video I do where my lips aren't dead at the end because these are so moisturizing and creamy and lovely feeling onto the lips. So even when you try to take these off, it doesn't hurt your lips at all. I've done liquid lipstick swatch videos in the past, and those are always a bit dreadful. Now I would like to talk you through really quickly the 3 shades I made myself. So I went to the By Beauty Lip Lab and I made a nude. Perfect nude. If you're looking for a dupe for this, Lisa Eldridge's Velvet Muse. It's exactly this shade. I didn't know that one's matte. This is a cream formula because I really like their cream formula so much for the nude range. I knew I wanted to make the nude a cream, and yes, I gave this a coconut scent, and it's got a cap that has my name on it. So in case you ever wondered, that is how you write my name. And then we have this swatched, and you will just see it's actually pretty close to pepper, but it's a bit more brown toned. It's a smoky rosewood. That's how I would describe it. And the nude took me the longest to get right because nude can be so many different things. And I actually have a video somewhere where I put this lipstick and the Lisa Eldridge, like one on my bottom lip and one on my top lip. I think I did that at some point. So if I can find it, I will link it in the description box down below so you can see them compared side by side. But this is a really, like, I made this lipstick myself before Lisa Eldridge released her lipstick. So I didn't know it was a thing, but yeah, I really like this on me. So let me show you. This is so yummy, so creamy. I just really love the way this looks. Again, it has a little bit of that reddish undertone that I just really like in my nudes. So yeah, that's why I went for this, and it just works perfectly on me. So I have a, like, Bite Beauty is like my lipstick line for nude lipsticks, as you can tell. As you can tell. So let me move on to the red that I made. Because I also made a red, and this one I made matte, and the red has violet scent to it, and I really wanted it to be a slightly deeper red because I have a lot of classic reds, but I wanted this to be darker but without it being berry because that's what I always struggle with, and it just ended up being a very, very vibrant red, like a very, like raspberry, like very overripe raspberries, but then with a hint of something more deep to it. So for me, this is lovely because deep reds can be really hard to do, but this is not like, it's still bright. It still has vibrancy to it. So that's why I ended up really liking this shade when we made it. Let me show you let me show you this on. So there you have it, my self-made red lipstick. Isn't this just perfect? Ooh, I'm getting lipstick all over my teeth. That's another issue with these. Like, if you just slap them on, these are the kind of lipstick where you really need to like do the tissue pulling it out of your mouth kind of thing because it's going to get all over your teeth. But it's got a blue base. It's not too orange. It's got a hint of something plum. This really is that overripe strawberry smoothie sort of red that I love. But guess what? I have nothing else like this in my collection. It is unique in terms of red because yes, it's vibrant, but it's got depth. It's got the blue undertone. It doesn't pull too berry. There are just no words. And the freebie I picked, there was only a few shades I could pick from, so I decided to go with a shade I definitely didn't have yet from Bite Beauty. So I went with this purple shade, and it's the one that I really didn't use a lot, because I think I wore it like once or twice, and it's not really for me. I think the undertone is just not 100% like perfect for me. Plus, as I mentioned, with these Bite Beauty lipsticks, these really deep shades are just not great because it is such a creamy formula. That's why I made the red into a matte, because even though that's still very creamy and balmy when it first goes on, it does stay put a lot better, and it doesn't transfer as badly as some of the other ones. But yeah, in a shade this dark, should have thought it through a bit more, but I think the other picks I had were a nude and a red, and I made a nude and a red, so I didn't really need those. So yeah, that's why I went with this one, but it's not perfect. So I'll just whack it on. And this is the unnamed freebie that I got. It's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty shade, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I don't really go for shades like this. It's not like, it's just almost too purple for me. Like, it works. I feel it works, but I don't know, there's just something that I just don't really know what to do with this in terms of like putting it with different eye looks and stuff like that. I just don't think it's perfect. So I think that this would be really stunning if you have a very deep skin tone. Then these like really dark plum shades just really stand out really nicely. For me, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty on, but I don't know what to put this with. So let me take it off. And then we go to the red and bright section, and those are the last 4 lipsticks I have for you. And in terms of reds and brights, I definitely went with a lot of bright, because one of the very few reds I have by Bite Beauty is Cayenne. I think that's how you say it, Cayenne, I'm not sure. Like the spices that you can put in like peppers and stuff like that. And it's a very vibrant orange tone red. Where to put you? Let me put you here. And this is so orange, like it's a red for sure, but it's got such a strong orange undertone that compared to all of these nudes, it just looks very orange. But on, let me show you. That would be Cayenne. I just love this. I just really like this lipstick. Again, it's getting all over my teeth. This does make my teeth look a little yellow because of the very strong yellowy orange tone base. But this makes Max Morange, which is also that like murky orangey red kind of shade, it puts it to shame. This is a blend of like an orange lipstick and Max Lady Danger. This is more orange toned than Max Lady Danger. This is just kapow. I think my camera doesn't even really do this any justice because it's just so vibrant that it doesn't really like, it just doesn't translate well on camera for that reason. So yeah, this is the kind of lipstick where if you truly want to make a statement, this is the one. And yeah, I just love this one. Right, and then we have another red, and this is Maple. And Maple is, if you're familiar with Max Chili, or like any sort of like brown toned red, then this lipstick I think gives you an idea of what it might look like. I just feel that this is more brown toned. It is that sort of maple syrup kind of shade, I have to say. I do agree with the Bite's assessment of it. It is a more brown toned leaning red. So it's got a bit more depth to it. And I do feel that it has something a little bit more unique to it because it has a bit more of a yellow undertone. In a way, it's similar to Velvet Dragon by Lisa Eldridge, but not quite. That one is more yellow toned, I feel, than this one is. This is more brown tone leaning, but I think that if, for instance, you really like the Lisa Eldridge one, but you find it very expensive, even though I think this retails for about the same price point as a Lisa Eldridge lipstick. But if it's easier for you to get these, then maybe look into Maple. And that's what maple looks like on me. As you can see, it is a deeper red. It's got a bit of brown running through it, but it's not too brown. I feel that Max Chili is really sort of like borderline brown, whereas this is a red with a brown undertone. And I feel that this, in the fall time, with like a mustard yellow cardigan on and like a brown smoky eye, it's a look. This is a look. Now, as I told you, we have some brights left as well, and the first one I want to show you is Reddish. And Reddish, I told you I don't like pinks, but I do really like bright pinks on me, and this is like a bright, berry, magenta-leaning pink. It's definitely pink. Let me show you, because it's pink. I'll put it over here. Not sure if you can see very well. Oh, like this. So can you just see that it's pink, but it's got a purple undertone to it. It's like Max Candy Yum Yum and Max Rebel went and had a baby. That's how I would describe this. This is very pink, very vibrant. It's great for the springtime, but because of that plummy undertone, I feel it can work really well in the fall as well. I definitely love Bite Beauty for their bright selection as well, especially because they take like inspiration from nature. It's just, I don't know. When I wear this, I put it on and it makes me happy. So let me show you. And that would be Reddish. Isn't it just, right? I need to make it an even swatch here. I always have a bit of issue with that part of my lip, but yeah, this is just vibrant, it's fun. It doesn't have too strong of a white base, which I think in terms of bright pinks can be very hard to find. Very often a bright pink will be like Max Candy Yum Yum, this like neon white base blue tone pink. But this is a pink that isn't fuchsia, but it's got a hint of fuchsia running through it. It's not a berry, but it's got a hint of berry running through it. It's not a magenta, but it's got a bit of magenta running through it. So this is just a lot of good stuff all fused into one gorgeous lipstick shade. And I've saved the best for last, because the last lipstick I'm going to show you is Beetroot. And if you think of Beetroot and what it looks like, that's exactly this shade. It exactly is. It's like a plummy berry. It's got depth to it. It's got a bit of blue to it as well. And this is my favorite bright lipstick by Bite Beauty for sure. Out of all of the ones I have here, this lipstick is heaven. It is a very difficult one to wear though, because I wore this to work once and then I had a pair and then I had a student meeting and then my student was like, "Miss, I think there is lipstick on your nose." So for some reason, my pair had transferred the lipstick to the tip of my nose, which was a bit embarrassing, I have to say. So yeah, you do have to be very careful with what you eat with these Bite lipsticks. They do transfer, they do slip around. They're not the best for wearing underneath a mask. The nudes I'm okay with, but something like this, you have to be very careful. So I think I'll just put it here, because I think it's good if you see the difference between Reddish and Beetroot. Beetroot is just, it's got more red, it's not as pink, and it's got a little bit more of a berry undertone. I would describe this as a deep berry shade. And that would be what Beetroot looks like on me. Did you just see what I mean? This is another one that I always wear a lot. I like for a darker, like bright shade like this. This is one of the like darkest shades that I get this much wear out of, because I feel this isn't really linked to a specific season for me. Very often these like darker shades, I don't tend to wear them year round, but because this has a hint of brightness to it, I feel I can wear it for most days in the year. I can wear it as spring, fall, winter, maybe not so in the very like height of summer. I wouldn't go for a shade like this perhaps, but it has a certain level of brightness to it that like especially on my lips, I feel it has a bit of that raspberry sort of quality coming through that I personally love. So yeah, this is another one of my favorites. So if I had to recommend just 3 from their regular line, so discounting the ones I make myself, I would go with Rhubarb or Pepper, a nude, Cayenne, and Beetroot. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you in today's video, my Bite Beauty lipstick collection. And I think I already have reviews up with all of these over on my blog, so make sure to link those links in the description box. So if you would like to see more close-ups of like swatches and these on my lips in like different lighting, because today we have a lot of sun coming in, then that's entirely possible because I have had some of these for some time. And yeah, I really love these, and I just wanted to rave about some of my favorite lipsticks, you guys. So yeah, thank you very much for watching today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week. So I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.